When we think about aid getting to places like Ukraine, it's easy to picture huge planes and, massive organizations, but sometimes the most powerful impact comes from smaller, really focused efforts.
Absolutely. And that's what we're looking at today.
Yeah, today we're doing a deep dive into something called Trip 6 of the Ukraine Train and Equip project. We're going to sort of peel back the layers and see what it actually takes to get vital help right where it's needed.
Exactly. We've got some fascinating material that lets us track the specific operation, Trip 6, right? From the initial idea through the fundraising, the meticulous planning, all the way to the actual delivery on the ground in Ukraine.
So what was the core mission here?
Well, it seems Trip 6 had two main goals, really. First, getting crucial pre-hospital trauma care kit, and the training to use it to Ukrainian soldiers. Life-saving stuff.
Right, for those right on the front lines.
And the second part, which I think adds a really important dimension, was delivering teddy bears. Simple teddy bears for kids affected by the war. Orphans, displaced children, a bit of comfort.
Wow, okay. And the scale of this, it sounds quite significant for a focused project.
It really is impressive when you dig into it. We're talking about a team of just 6 individuals.
6 people.
Yep, 6 people. And they managed the logistics for delivering 1,200 individual first aid kits, IFAKs, plus 13 chainsaws, and 1040 teddy bears.
That's a huge amount of kit.
It is. And it involved a 12-day trip covering roughly, 3,500 miles, all funded by about 70,000 pounds raised specifically for this trip.
Okay, 70,000 pounds. That fundraising part is always the essential first step, isn't it? That doesn't just happen.
No, absolutely not. And the information points to some key players here. There's Richard Yates from Ellis Wines, involved through an initiative called Golden Hearts to Ukraine, and also Angus Brighton of BM Caterers. They seem to have a real history of fundraising for Ukraine, including past Golden Hearts events that raised quite a bit. Shows real ongoing commitment.
So individuals, businesses stepping up. Was there a sort of central committee or something coordinating this?
It seems likely there was a wider gala committee involved, perhaps pulling these efforts together. But importantly, the Order of St. George played a critical role.
Ah, okay. And what was their specific function?
Yeah.
More than just handling money, I assume.
Oh, definitely. They provided crucial oversight and, credibility. They're a registered humanitarian charity, number 137397 for those interested. And they even have special consultative status with the UN.
Right, so that brings a level of governance, international recognition. Makes a big difference.
A huge difference. Ensures accountability, adds weight to the whole operation. And then on the medical side, they partnered with TraumaMed Solutions.
TraumaMed, what was their role?
They're specialists in pre-hospital emergency medical gear, so their expertise was vital for, advising on exactly what equipment was needed, ensuring it was the right stuff, good quality.
So it really was collaboration then.
Yeah.
Fundraising, governance, medical expertise.
Yeah.
Different skills coming together.
Precisely. You had the business community driving the fundraising, the order providing that robust charitable framework, and TraumaMed bringing the specialist knowledge. No single group could likely have done this alone. It really shows that power of combining different networks and skills.
Yeah, it makes the whole effort much stronger, doesn't it?
Definitely. A really multifaceted approach.
Okay, so the money's raised, the key partners are on board. What next? The planning must have been intense.
Incredibly detailed. We actually have references to planning documents like a UKR train and equip trip memo and budget and a dedicated schedule that tells you the level of organization involved.
MEL, what's that usually stand for? Monitoring, evaluation.
Likely monitoring, evaluation, and learning, or sometimes management and execution log. Either way, it points to serious project management.
And these documents, they went into detail.
Oh, yes. They identified the specific vehicles they were using, an Audi Q5 and a Vauxhall Movano, though we won't share the plate details for security. They even projected fuel costs down to GBP and euros needed, real nuts and bolts planning.
And the journey itself, you said 12 days, 3,500 miles.
Yeah, the schedule maps it all out, starting in the UK, driving through France, Germany, Poland, and then deep into Ukraine.
So multiple border crossings, different regulations.
Exactly. And they planned specific overnight stops, places like Warstein in Germany, Rizzo in Poland, and then several locations within Ukraine itself. Rivne, Kiev, Uman, Ternopil, Lviv. before heading back towards Krakow in Poland.
And the schedule wasn't just about driving times, I imagine.
Not at all. It broke down activities day by day, loading the van, the long drives, coordinating with a team member who was flying in to meet them, navigating those crucial border crossings.
Right, the borders must have been a key planning point.
For sure. And the schedule also included planned meetups, like with a contact named Alex Shipka, which suggests important coordination with people on the ground in Ukraine.
Essential for smooth operations.
And specific time was allocated for the teddy bear handovers, too. One planned for Brody, another near Uman, alongside the main training event.
Ah, so Uman was the focal point for the main mission.
Yes, the schedule clearly marks a training and med kit handover day there. That was the core objective. Deliver the PHTC training and the equipment.
And they even planned the return leg.
Yep. The drive back across Europe, catching the shuttle back to the UK, everything seems to have been thought through.
What about unexpected issues? Did they plan for contingencies?
They did. The budget included contingency funds, both a percentage-based one tied to donations and a fixed amount. Plus, clear allocations for operational running costs, vehicle prep, maintenance, that sort of thing, shows real foresight.
And the team itself, you said 6 people.
That's right. Rupert Granville, Adam Chapman, Miles Lant, Jake Wood, Dane Halling, and Paul Gould. And it's noted that several of them have ex-military backgrounds.
Ah, that makes sense. That experience must have been invaluable.
Hugely valuable, you'd think, especially for the logistics operating in that environment and, crucially, for delivering the trauma training effectively. That level of planning, it just shouts professionalism and dedication.
Okay, so let's talk about that delivery, the medical equipment and the training. This feels like the absolute heart of the mission.
It really was. This wasn't just dropping boxes off. It was about transferring skills and providing the tools to use those skills.
And the training was specific.
Yes, focused on pre-hospital trauma care, PHTC, closely aligned with TCCC standards, tactical combat casualty care.
TCCC, right. That's the standard for battlefield medicine, isn't it?
It is. It's considered the benchmark for managing injuries in those kinds of high-threat, high-stress situations. And importantly, an ex-military training team actually went to Ukraine to deliver this training directly.
So hands-on training, not just manuals.
Exactly. Much more impactful. And the 1,200 individual first aid kits were directly tied to this. The contents were specifically chosen to match the PHTC skills being taught.
What sort of things were in those kits?
Well, the details mention essential items like nitrile gloves, trauma shears for cutting clothing quickly, NPA's Nasopharyngeal Airways with lubricant.
Okay, airway management.
Right. Also, the Citizen Aid Tourniquet Plus, which is a type of tourniquet, vital for stopping massive bleeding. Trauma bandages, vented chest seals like Fox Seal for lung injuries, and Celox Rapid Z-Fold Haemostatic Gauze.
Celox Rapid. That's designed to stop severe bleeding very fast, isn't it?
Extremely fast. So while we don't have the exact quantity of every single item within each kit, the overall list shows they were comprehensive packs designed for immediate life-saving interventions on the battlefield.
And the TCCC principles they were teaching alongside this kit. What's the basic idea?
It's all about prioritization in chaos. The sources outline a basic flow. First and foremost, stop catastrophic bleeding. Then quickly assess, is the casualty walking? Do they seem neurologically normal? Are they breathing okay?
Okay, a rapid assessment.
Exactly. And based on that, you triage. You categorize casualties, immediate, urgent, delayed, or unfortunately dead, P1, P2, P3, basically. It's a system built for speed and effectiveness under extreme pressure.
So giving people the skills and the specific equipment to apply those skills immediately.
Precisely. That combination is what saves lives. Putting that capability directly into the hands of trained Ukrainian first responders has a direct, measurable impact on improving survival rates.
Absolutely critical work. But there was the other side, too, the teddy bears.
Yes, and I think this is such an important part in the story. Distributing those 1,000 bears, it shows a real understanding of the wider human cost of the conflict.
Where did the bears come from?
They partnered with an organization called the Teddy Trust. Their whole mission is collecting teddy bears to send to children who've been through trauma or displacement.
That's wonderful.
It really is. And the Trip 6 team handed them out personally, 500 in Brody and another 500 near Uman, probably at the same venue as the training.
Just imagining the impact of that simple gift.
It's profound, isn't it? For a child who's lost everything, facing unimaginable fear and uncertainty, a teddy bear is. Well, it's a source of comfort, a small symbol of hope. Something to hold on to. It's acknowledging their pain in a very direct, human way.
Yeah, it moves beyond the purely logistical or medical. It's about compassion.
Absolutely. It shows that the mission wasn't just about military effectiveness. It was also deeply rooted in humanitarian care for the most vulnerable.
Looking back at the whole operation then, the planning, the delivery, how was it managed overall?
The information we have points towards what's described as lean and agile project management. It suggests they weren't bogged down in bureaucracy.
Efficient.
Very. And a key point highlighting this and the team's commitment is that none of the project team received any payment. They were all volunteers.
Wow. All that time and effort, entirely voluntary.
It's incredible dedication.
Yeah.
And that feeds directly into another impressive figure. The program expense ratio was apparently 98.1%.
98.1%. What does that mean exactly?
It means that over 98 pence out of every pound raised went directly into the charitable activities, buying the medical kit, the bears, covering the fuel, the essential logistics, extremely low overheads.
That's exceptionally high. It shows really careful stewardship of the donation.
It really does. Speaks volumes about how focused and efficient this whole operation was.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive into Trip 6 really shows a remarkable example of focused humanitarian action, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It was built on several pillars. That initial successful fundraising drive, the incredibly detailed planning, the expert delivery of both life-saving skills and equipment, and that deeply humane touch with the teddy bears.
And the collaboration was key throughout.
Definitely. The Order of St. George providing that governance, trauma med solutions with the vital medical know-how, the Teddy Trust enabling that compassionate outreach, and of course, the individuals driving the fundraising and the delivery on the ground. It all came together.
Yeah, and the result was tangible help for soldiers facing horrific injuries and a measure of comfort for children caught up in it all.
Exactly.
Looking at the sheer effort, the planning, the dedication involved here,
Yeah.
it really makes you think, how can that kind of focused collaborative energy be harnessed to tackle other huge challenges, maybe even closer to home? What does it really take to make that kind of difference? And, what part can individuals or small groups play?
That's a powerful thought to leave with. It's a testament to what determined people can achieve. And for anyone listening who wants to know more about the organizations involved, we definitely encourage you to look up the Order of St. George, Trauma Med Solutions, and the Teddy Trust. They continue to do incredibly important work.